Are we in a silent martial law at the moment? Yun ang tanong ko sa mga Pilipino. Ano bang gagawin natin? Tumunganga at pumalakpak? No, of course not. We need to stand and we need to defend our sovereignty and independence as a country if we want to have a Philippines. If not, then goodbye Philippines. That's really the case. Malungkot na araw ng ating kasaysayan sa Pilipinas. Ang naaresto ang ating mahal na former President Pangulong Duterte na wala man lang na ipakitang warrant of arrest during the time na kinuha siya ng mga pulis. And at the same time, it's also not an issue. This is not just an issue of President Duterte na inaresto. Issue ito ng buong Pilipinas at issue ito ng bawat Pilipino. Kasi ang sinasabi nila, ang warrant of arrest daw ay nanggaling sa ICC at may tinatawag daw na red notice from the Interpol and so on and so forth. Pero ang tanong kasi, unang-una, alam naman ng buong Pilipinas at ng buong mundo na we're not part of the ICC anymore. So ang ano dito kasi, this is really an assault to the sovereignty of the Philippines. Ang hindi ko maintindihan sa namumuno ngayon sa ating bansa si Marcos Jr., ang daming beses niyang sinabi, the country will not cooperate with ICC precisely because we're not part of it. Now ngayon, ang dinajustify ni Torre sa kanyang aresto kanina na wala naman palang dokumento na maipakita at hindi man lang binigyan ng pagkakataon na makapag-argue or ma-due process man lang kasi hindi makapasok ang mga lawyers ng ating former president at dun pa mismo sa aeroplano kasi galing Hong Kong lalanding eh. Sa aeroplano mismo, kinancel lahat ng pass ng even I think of the security, and this is really this is really an assault to the due process and yung rule of law ng Pilipinas. At isa pa, issue ito ng soberenya ng bansa. Bilang ang presidente kasi ng kahit anong bansa, lalo na dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, the first and the basic yan na trabaho niya is to uphold the sovereignty and independence of the country. With this, anong ginawa niya? Pinayagan niyang lapastanganin ng ICC kung sa ICC man yung aresto na yan kasi ngayon may mga nagsasabi at may mga nag-check doon sa authentication ng document kung galing nga bang ICC yan or fake daw yan. Marami ngayon marami ako nare-receive na mga information at sinasabi ko lang na since kayo ang pwede mag-check niyan, sige check nyo, tingnan natin kung totoo yan o hindi. Pero at the end of the day, sabihin pa natin given na totoong galing ICC yan. That's an assault to the sovereignty of the country and the independence. We're not part of the ICC. And another thing, read notice ng Interpol. Hindi yan arrest warrant. It's not an international arrest warrant. Ang red notice, even if it comes from the Interpol. Ano yan? Parang may notice ka, pero ang magde-decide niyan is ang ating local na mga security at local courts natin. Ibig sabihin, nasa kamay pa rin yan ng gobyerno natin kung hahayaan nilang yung red notice na ma-implement o hindi. Pero ito yung nakakainis. Ilang beses sinabi ni Bongbong Marcos, we are not cooperating with ICC. Kasi wala silang jurisdiction sa Pilipinas and we're not part of it. But look what happened right now. Anong ibig sabihin yan? Tatlo lang yan. Sinungaling siya, ilang beses siya nagsinungaling. Pangalawa, nilapastangan niyang soberenya at independence ng bansang Pilipinas dahil hindi tayo membro niyan, interference niyan. Pangatlo, hindi tayo failed state. ICC is the last resort pagdating sa mga issue na to. Last resort yan. We are not a failed state because our local courts are functioning. Our Supreme Court is there. So anong ginagawa ng ICC warrant of arrest na yan sa Pilipinas? At sa lahat talaga, ang presidente pa, ang former president pa ng Pilipinas, ang ginagawa nila ng ganito. So ang tanong ko sa ating mga kababayan, this is not an issue of Duterte per se. This is an issue of the Philippines and each and every one of us ng mga Pilipino. Hahayaan nyo ba na lapastanganin ng ICC at ng current administration ni Bongbong Marcos ang soberenya ng bansa? Wala na. If that is the case and you will allow this to happen, then there's no such thing as Philippines if that's the case. So yun ang dapat isipin ng mga Pilipino at this time. Kanina pa kami nagbo-broadcast ni na spokesperson Harry Roque at Mother Dragon Maharlika, at tinatalakay namin ang mga issues na to mula kaninang alas 9 ng umaga hanggang ngayon. Nag-excuse ako sa kanila kasi nagpaunlak ako dito sa inyong programa. Pero tawag nito, very, very, very clear ang issue. It's the issue, ang issue ay issue ng sovereignty. Pangalawa, matanda na po ang ating former president. Actually, may humanitarian consideration dapat yan. Pero kanina, kahit man lang yung ino-order niyang pizza, hindi makapasok kung saan siya na-detain. Goodness gracious. Ganito na ba talaga ang Pilipinas under a Bongbong Marcos government? Sus Mariosep.
May pahayag dito si former Senator Gringo Honasan. Basahin ko lang po, Prof, no? Itong yung kanyang naging pahayag. And I quote, "This morning, former President Rodrigo Duterte was arrested without a warrant by the Philippine National Police under the directive of PNP Chief General Marbil. He was taken to Villamor Air Base without any clear legal basis for his detention. Before his arrest, President Duterte made a defiant statement. You will just have to kill me. Hindi ako papayag kung kakampi ka riyan sa mga puti." This moment evokes a chilling historical parallel to the last words of Senator Ninoy Aquino before his assassination in 1983. However, the heart of this issue is not about political loyalties, whether one is for Marcos or Duterte. The real issue here is the sovereignty of our nation. Both President Bongbong Marcos and Justice Secretary Boying Remulla have consistently asserted that the President or that the Philippine justice system is functioning and that we are not a failed state. If there are charges against the former President Duterte, then our own courts, not the international criminal courts, and in its foreign judges must handle the case. I myself have been arrested, charged, imprisoned, and later granted amnesty. My entire legal process transpired under the jurisdiction of our national courts. Similarly, former President Joseph Estrada, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo faced legal battles, were imprisoned, and went through the judicial process within the bounds of Philippine law. What is happening now is a dangerous precedent. On that raises a serious question about our nation's sovereignty and our ability to uphold our own justice system. The rule of law must prevail. Our justice system must not be dictated by foreign influence or international pressure. Ano masasabi mo, Prof?
Exactly what I'm saying, Admar. Again, malinaw. We are not part of the ICC anymore. Second, even if we are part of the ICC, the only way for ICC to intervene if we are considered a failed state. And what is a failed state? A failed state meaning our institution, our legal institution, our government is not functioning. And thus far, the Philippines is not in that state. We have a very vigorous legal system and we have a vigorous judiciary. Andyan ang Supreme Court. Ka-oral arguments pa lang ng PhilHealth. Do you really think we are a failed state? And bottom line talaga dito, it's not really an issue per se of the Dutertes or even of President Duterte. Pinaka-bottom line na dapat maintindihan ng bawat Pilipino ngayon is itong issue na ito ay issue na interference sa soberenya ng Pilipinas and independence. Walang bansa sa mundo na papayag ng ganito at walang presidente ng ibang country na gagawin ang ganitong klase ng paglapastangan sa soberenya ng bansa natin. Iisa lang ang example dito, itong si Bongbong Marcos. As a president, that is the first job that he needs to do, uphold the sovereignty and independence of the country. But what he did right now, what he did, mga Pilipino, ito ba ang gusto ninyo? Gusto ba ninyong lapastanganin ng mga ibang institusyon, international interference na kung sino-sino ang bansang Pilipinas at wala na tayong karapatan na magkaroon ng soberenya dahil ito classic example, is a very basic example. Paano kino-compromise ng current regime ni Marcos Jr. ang soberenya ng bansa? It's there already. Ang tanong ko sa mga Pilipino, hayaan ba natin ito? So kung hahayaan nito, di ba na natin tawagin ang Pilipinas as a state or even as an independent and sovereign state? Because in the very first place, we cannot even fight for our sovereignty. It's time to fight for our own independence and sovereignty. And this is it. Nandiyan na yung example. Inaresto si President Duterte, former President Duterte. Una, walang warrant na ipakita. Pangalawa, read notice lang daw. Even if the ICC will say, okay, aarestuhin namin yan, before they even bring him to anywhere, dadaan yan sa korte natin, sa RTC pa nga, or any our local courts. Pero may nangyayari bang ganon? May nangyayari bang ganon? Una, ano ang due process? May due process ba? In-inform ba nila ang Pangulong Duterte na may mangyayaring ganito? Wala. It's a surprise. Nagpadala sila ng dami-daming mga pulis doon. Kinancel nila yung pass ng mga dapat susundo kay Pangulong Duterte. Sa loob pa lang ng eroplano, inano na siya, kumbaga, kinuha na siya, inaresto na siya, tapos wala man lang maipakitang warrant of arrest. Is that the kind of Philippines we want? Really? Under a Marcos Jr. government, it's happening. And what is this? And do we really want to have a leader na ganito? Hindi man lang maipagtanggol ang soberenya ng bansa and hindi naging consistent sa kanyang mga pronouncement. Ilang beses yan. Mula nang umupo siya sa pwesto, sinasabi niya, we will not cooperate with ICC, we are not part of the ICC, we will uphold our sovereignty. So anong ginawa niya? Yung pala ay ano lang yon, picture. At the end of the day, nagsisinungaling naman pala siya. Yan yung problema ng gobyerno na to. Ang daming mga etsogoreche, pero at the end of the day, ganito lang gagawin. Magsisinungaling. Ang tanong ko, this is a public trust issue. The office of the president is a public office. There's such a thing as a public trust. Ang tanong ko sa ating mga kababayan, may tiwala pa ba kayo sa gobyernong ito? May tiwala pa ba kayo sa presidenteng umupo dyan? Yun ang tanong ko Kasi nakakairita Ang dami-dami mga sinasabi daw mamaya, ganito lang palang mangyayari. So, ako, nakakahiya, no? Nahihiya ako bilang Pilipino sa international level kasi sinasabi nila, ngayon nagtatanong ang mga media sa international level and even my colleagues in the international level, what happened? You let someone be arrested by the ICC when in fact you're not part of it anymore, Ana? I said, yeah, but that is not the Filipino way. Actually, that's not the will of the Filipinos. That is only Marcos Jr. doing it. But the thing that I'm very ashamed of is the office of the president, and that office supposedly should be upholding the sovereignty and independence of the country. Pero what happened was the reverse. Wala akong masagot because they're also trying to interview me from sa international media. Kasi yun yung basic tanong
Opo.
So what is the impact of this to your sovereignty?
Opo.
Yun ang basic tanong Kaya nag-agree ako kay former Senator Honasan. Basically, that is also my argument sa lahat na nangyayaring ito ngayong araw na to.
Prof, so hindi tugma yung hakbang ng ating gobyerno ngayon sa China, dito sa hakbang ngayon ng gobyerno, dito sa pag-cater sa sinasabing arrest warrant ng ICC?
Hindi, ang China kasi is not part of the ICC from the start.
I mean yung sa pag-i-insist natin sa ating soberanya kuno dito sa usapin sa South China Sea.
Yun na nga Sabi ko nga ito yung dapat nilang dito matitest kung talagang para sila sa soberenya ng Pilipinas. Yung South China Sea na yan, maraming claimant state. It's a contested area. And even then, we only have sovereign rights and maritime rights. We don't have sovereignty over the area. And at the end of the day, it's a contested ng iba't ibang bansa. So that is a dispute that needs to be resolved by those countries na claimant state. Ito, malinaw ito na may soberenya tayo, na tayo dapat ang nag-a-uphold ng soberenya natin at ang gobyerno na yan, na Marcos Jr. ang dapat nangunguna para i-uphold ang sovereignty natin at hindi niya dapat lapastanganin. Kaya makikita mo, may duplicity itong mga to. Duplicity ang tawag dyan saying something but doing another thing. So anong ibig sabihin niyan? Niloloko lang nila ang mamamayang Pilipino. At ngayon, mga kababayan, ano pa ba? Hindi pa ba very evident example yan ng panluloko sa ating mga Pilipino? Goodness gracious, pag hindi pa tayo nagising, ewan ko na lang kung anong mangyayari sa Pilipinas. Really, I really don't know. This is already what? A bombshell? What? I thought that ang alam ko, nung una kasi magulo yung information, ang sabi, ICC. Tapos mamaya sinasabi may sedition daw na kaso. Sabi ko, kung may sedition na kaso kay former president, dapat may preliminary investigation at inform ang former president that there's such a thing as a legal case against him. So parang ang gulo-gulo nung una, sabi ko, may sinasabi na ICC, sabi ko, how come na magkakaroon ng ICC? May pronouncement galing sa Department of Justice, ang Undersecretary, na there's no communication daw, and that was yesterday. There was a pronouncement also from Minardo Guevara, ang Solgen. There was also a pronouncement coming na sinasabi ang Department of Foreign Affairs, walang na-receive na ganun, blah, blah, blah. So out of the blue, kinabukasan, kasi Monday kahapon, kinabukasan ngayon, pag-landing ni President Duterte, galing sa bakasyon niya, sa Hong Kong, kasi it was a family vacation. At the same time, nag-attend siya sa KOJC gathering para magpasalamat sa KOJC at may rally din na nangyari. In a way, pagdating niya, arestado siya at ang ginagamit ni Torre at ni Marvel is, this is from the ICC, pero walang maipakita dokumento. So sabi ko, ang gulo-gulo naman ng administrasyon nito. Parang every step of the way, nagpo-produce sila ng something kasi wala silang maiproduce initially. So, alam mo yun, this is really like a lukuhan ang nangyayari ngayon sa Pilipinas eh. Pero ang bottom line kasi dyan, Admar at saka MJ at mga banateros, ano ang gagawin ng Pilipino? Kasi andyan na yan eh. Ang tanong, how are we gonna react about this? What do we want really as a country? Do we want a country like this? Oh, there's no such thing as Philippines if you compromise your own sovereignty as a country. Now, if you want the Philippines, then we need to do something about what is going on in the country. Ganon siya eh. Hindi to pwede na lang, rara. We need really to do something. So, nasa sa kamay ng mga Pilipino yan. Kasi at the end of the day, if we really is truly a democracy, the power of a democracy lies in the hands of the people. It's the people that is supreme. Ako, ikaw, at kasama ang lahat ng Pilipino, we are the supreme. Barod lang ang kapangyarihan ng presidente sa atin. Binaro lang sa atin ang kapangyarihan mga nakaupo sa pwesto. Kasi ang supreme sa isang demokrasya ay ang mga Pilipino. If we claim to be a democracy really. And I think it's the right time for us as the supreme in a democracy in our country to show that we are really the power behind our democracy. Ganon siya eh. So ang tanong ko sa mga Pilipino, ang challenge ko, ano gagawin natin? Anong desisyon nyo? Kasi hintayin nyo, pag ito wala talaga, di wala na. Talagang our country is going down the drain. That is really the case. Kung wala tayong gagawin, the country will go down the drain. And it's already there. It's going down. Hindi pa siya nandun sa drain. Pero pag papunta na siya doon, ang tanong, isasagipin mo ba ang bansa? Sasagipin ba natin ang bansa before siya mapunta sa drain? Or hindi? Yun ang tanong eh. It's really the question among us, Filipinos. Kasama ako doon. So yun.
Prof, maging ang US, si current President Donald Trump ay nag-impose po ng sanctions laban sa ICC at sa mga opisyales nito. Pero ang Pilipinas, hinayaan po ang ICC na ibigay ang dating presidente in a way to honor the former president. Ma'am, anong masasabi niyo dito na, di ba, nakapattern yung mga galaw natin sa Amerika? But this time, sa panahon ni Trump, hindi na susunod. Pero nung panahon ni Biden, matindi po ang, kumbaga, similarities. Number one sa mga tinamaan ng KOJC, si Pastor. Sa ilalim ng Biden administration, ng kanilang sinalakay, ang mahigit 300 simbahan sa Amerika na tutol sa pro-abortion policies ng administrasyong Biden. Kaya ngayon, nagugat doon ng mga pang-abuso at mga kaso ni Pastor. Ma'am.
Oo, iba kasi pa to parang ang tingin ko sa current administration ng Marcos Jr. na iwan sa Biden administration. Kasi malinaw ang sinabi ni Trump na-sanction ang ICC, nag-freeze nga sila ng kanilang support, and also ang panawagan nga ni Trump sa mga allies niya is follow their lead. Ibig sabihin, kung anong kanilang ginagawa against the ICC yung mga allies nila na countries, you follow the lead of the United States under Trump 2.0 administration. So ewan ko itong si BBM na para bang hindi niya maintindihan kung kung alay nga ba tayo ng United States, dapat sinundan mo si Trump. Kasi ayaw ni Trump sa ICC eh. 'Di ba? Pero hindi eh. Kasi malinaw naman ang gusto nilang mangyari. Gusto nilang mawala sa political landscape ng Pilipinas ang mga Duterte. Look, you have the ICC right now, inaresto na si President Duterte at may mga nagsasabi pa right now na parang gustong ilipad si former President Duterte to somewhere na hindi pa klarado kung saan. Kaya nga sabi ni Digong, ni former President na hindi ako sasakay dyan, barilin nyo na lang ako kung gusto nyo, pero hindi ako sasama dyan. Kasi kung lilitisin siya siguro sa Pilipinas, di okay lang yun. I think he will face it. Pero ililipad siya somewhere para litisin ng mga puti, sabi niya, hindi ako sasama dyan. Kahit naman siguro ako, makipagbarilan na lang ako kasi isama ako doon kung saan-saan na hindi ko naman alam kung saan ako mapupunta. Hindi ko naman bansa yun. Yun siguro yung din ni former President Duterte. So may ganon. Ang pangalawa is, yun na nga, hindi ko talaga siya mag-gets itong si BBM This is something na would really, it's like a political suicide on his side. And I really don't know how stupid they can be. Really. I mean, how can you do this? You are what? Putting an arrest sa isa pinaka-popular na pangulo ng bansa thus far? Wala pang naging popular na pangulo sa Pilipinas except Duterte. President Duterte. That is really the case of the matter. So kung ikaw, stupid, you will do something like this. Pero this will cost you a lot. Yun nga, political suicide nga ito. Kasi anong tingin mo? Tingin mo mga Pilipino ay uupo lang at nga. Hindi naman Kasi dalawa to Una, issue ito, in a way, you arrested the former president, which is popular, and at the same time, there's an issue of violation of the sovereignty ng Pilipinas. Pangatlo, ang alay mo under Trump, ayaw sa ICC. So, ang tanong ko, hindi na pala siya pro-American ngayon. Kasi hindi naman niya pala sinusunod si Trump sa kanyang kumbaga sa kanyang suggestion ni Trump na my allies, follow my lead. Ayoko diyan sa ICC, walang kwenta yan and all that. So ganun Pero hindi niya siguro na-gets kasi ang gusto lang talaga nila is to eliminate the Duterte sa political landscape ng Pilipinas. So ngayon, mayroon kang ICC warrant of arrest, gusto nilang ilipad kung saan man itong si former President Duterte, and you have the impeachment trial pending on July 2, starting July 2. So look, mga kababayan, very, very clear ang strategy ng mga to. They want to eliminate. Ang tanong, why would you do that? It's precisely because sobrang insecure sila na alam nila na kung sa fair play lang ang pag-uusapan, fair play, may it be in the election or whatsoever, hindi sila mananalo kay Digong at kay Sara, kay Vice President Duterte. So, kaya ito yung mga, political harassment, lahat na ng klaseng derogatory term na ang synonymous sa political harassment, demolition job, ito yun. Ito yun, malinaw na ito yun. So this is more a local-driven na politika against the Dutertes, but the issue of the ICC is way bigger than that and way higher than that, and that's the issue of the sovereignty of the country. Malinaw yan.
Yes, Prof, may nagtatanong po dito si JP sa ating live stream. Ano raw ang masasabi mo dito sa mga nakikita nilang assessment na ang ginagamit raw ngayon na taktika ng administrasyon is yung divide and conquer. Pinag-aaway tayo mga Pilipino.
Bakit? Ang tanong ko kay JP, is it really something na divide and conquer? Take note, ang sabi ko nga, this is an issue of every Filipino. Kung ang tingin ng iba dyan, lalo na ng mga pro-Marcos or supporters man nitong mga Marcoses, Romualdez and others, Duterte against Marcos, I think they're wrong. Because sabi ko nga, itong ICC thing, this is not an issue per se of the Dutertes. This is an issue of every Filipino. Kasi ang pinag-uusapan dito ay soberenya ang independensya ng bansang Pilipinas. Now, kung hindi yan maintindihan nila, ibig sabihin, they don't deserve to be Filipinos. Yun yung totoo dyan. Kasi if you're a Filipino, you will be very angry if your sovereignty and independence as a country is compromised by your own president. That is really the case. Now, if you don't love your country, you will not feel anything. At magigitna ka lang dito sa politika na nangyayari sa local politics ng Pilipinas. But come on, take note. This is an issue of independence and sovereignty ng bansa. Now, ang tanong, are you a Filipino? Because if you're a Filipino, you will never allow that the sovereignty of your country will be compromised by no less than the president of the country. That is crazy. Because again, the basic job of the president is to uphold the independence and sovereignty of a country. Ganun talaga yun. Kahit saang bansa ka pumunta, pag tinanong mo ang presidente kung ang pinakauna niyang trabaho is uphold the sovereignty and independence of the country, uphold the constitution. Ang nasaan ang word na sovereignty? Look at our constitution. It's there. It's there. And that's the basic job of a president. So, paano nangyari ito? So, sasabihin ng mga iba dyan na, oh, this is a divide and conquer or this is dividing the Philippines. No, there's no division. If Filipinos are very clear kung saan sila tumatayo. If you're standing on the flag, you're standing beside the flag and you're upholding the flag and you're upholding your country, there's no division. There's only one thing. We need to fight for our sovereignty and independence as a country. And this is now happening in the country. We are compromising. They have compromised that. So anong sinasabing divide and conquer? Because for me, to be very frank, MJ and Admar, this is beyond politics of the Duterte faction and even of the Duterte faction. This is beyond that and it already. This is about the whole country. Yun yung sa akin eh. So yung iba, dapat siguro intindihin nyo muna yung issue ng malalim. Para before kayo magsabi na Duterte ako, Marcos ako. Sa akin hindi, malinaw siya. It's just so happen na ang naging example para maipakita palalo at ma-exemplify at ma-demonstrate na this current government is sacrificing our sovereignty as a country is itong si President Duterte. Siya yung example, siya yung sacrificial lamb dito na nangyari. Sa kanya nakita lalo na oops, the Philippines is doing something not good under a Marcos Jr. administration. Oops, sovereignty is compromised. Yun lang yun exemplification ang nangyayari kay Pangulong Duterte. Pero basic, this is an issue of every Filipino. This is an issue about the country. Ganon talaga siya.
Opo, ma'am, pakinggan lang muna natin bahagya yung mga nangyayari dyan sa Davao City, sa Rizal Park. Nagkakaroon po ng prayer rally dyan ng mga taga-supporters ni former President Rodrigo Duterte. Ang taong bayan ng Davao, pinangungunahan ng mga konsyal. Yan po si Vice Mayor Kitain. Pakinggan po muna natin.
Sa atong konstitusyon na kabutan niya pagkapolitin mo first page kung sa'yo nabutan, we the sovereign Filipino people imploring the aid of Almighty God in order to build a just and humane society. Katulog na to nga mo ato diri sa Rizal Park. Katulog na to nga mo suporta sa atong former president. Katulog na to nga suportahan na to ang pamilyang Duterte. In these trying times, kinahanglan ng tabang ni PRRD. Daghan na kayo sa natabangan din sa Davao City. Pwede ba ito na po yung tabang ng PRRD? It's about time, dear. Let us show our support. Let us pray for his safety, pray for his good health, and pray na unta pauliin na sa dali sa Davao City. Because we miss you very much, former President Rodrigo Duterte. Please come home. Please come home to Davao City. We are longing for you. We want you here. We want you to lead Davao City and all the way. We want safety and peace for the entire Philippines, and only FPRRD can do that for us. Duterte! Duterte!
Yan pong nangyayari ngayon ay pinangunahan ng City Council ng Davao at may naging pahayag na rin po si Mayor Sebastian Duterte. Nais ko lang pong ibahagi ang sinabi po ng isang dating presidential consultant sa katauhan po ni Jose Alejandrino. Sabi niya, and I quote, "When Jose Rizal was detained by Spanish authorities, brought to trial on Trump-up charges of being a filibuster and sentenced to be executed before a firing squad in December 1896, Rizal's execution reignited the Philippine Revolution after the cry of Pugad Lawin by the Katipunan. In January 1897, Aguinaldo's forces clashed with Spanish forces at the Battle of Pateros. In August 1983, Prof., sabi ni Jose Alejandrino, Ninoy Aquino was assassinated at the Manila International Airport. It triggered the People Power Revolution, which ended with the exile of Ferdinand Marcos Sr. in February 1986. In both cases, the Filipinos revolted because of two martyrs. Revolutions are triggered by martyrs. It was the same when Jesus, when he was crucified by the Romans. His crucifixion led to the spread of Christianity and eventually toppled the Western Roman Empire, the biggest empire of its time. Now, the detention of highly popular President Rodrigo Duterte by the Bongbong Marcos administration to be handed by the ICC will trigger the downfall of the second Marcos regime. Arresting Digong will turn him into a martyr, and there is nothing more powerful than the symbol of a martyr. Your comment sa post na ito, Prof.
Which is, I totally agree. Ang ginawa nila kay former President Duterte is, yun na nga ang stupid talaga ng current administration ni Bongbong Marcos. They turn him into a martyr. And that is really true. You cannot kill, you know what, it's like this. Pag naging martyr ang isang tao, lalo na when you talk about this very specific situation na he's standing for the country. And he was a very popular president when during his time and even until now. And he stood and did a lot of good things for the country. Tapos ginawa mo to sa kanya. At saka ang ginawa mo pang aresto aresto ng ICC na supposedly dapat hindi yan pwedeng pumasok sa Pilipinas kasi we're not part of it and it's actually an assault to our sovereignty. Iginawa mong martir. Kahit anong gawin nila kay President Duterte, hindi si President Duterte, the idea of him, the image of him being a martyr for the country will live on, not only now, but for the generation to come. And that's something that they cannot kill, whatever they do, this current regime. And yes, this may trigger something in a repeat of history as well. A very momentous repeat of history. And we all know that. Yung people power sa EDSA 1 yan, kasi ang daming EDSA EDSA 1. And anong nag-trigger doon? Diba? It was triggered by a martyr, si Noynoy Aquino, as far as the Yellows are concerned. But this time around, they did it again. Actually, napaka-stupid. They never learn from history, the current Marcos Jr. regime. They never learn. So it would be an omen to them. Omen yan sa kanila. A negative omen. A bad omen. Wala tayong magagawa. Kasi yan naman talaga siguro ang destiny ni Bongbong Marcos. For the second time around, ma-experience niya ang na-experience niya nung panahon ng tatay niya. Kasi kung matalino ka, you will avoid that experience. Pero ngayon, wala He will experience the same thing, I think. Mas masahol pa sa experience niya before. Kasi nung time na yon bata pa siya. Ngayon, hindi na. At saka, ang mahirap pa dyan, ang kanyang legacy bilang presidente ay isa sa masamang legacy at nakakahiyang legacy sa buong history ng Pilipinas. You know what? The father was even, I don't say na better ang martial law or whatever, pero this one is worse than the father. Really, truly. Because at least yung tatay, nagde-declare. Dineclare niya ang martial law. Ito, nasa silent martial law ang Pilipinas, walang declaration. Ito, ang sinasabi niya, hindi tayo magko-cooperate, pero ito yung nangyari. Andyan pa rin ang ICC interfering in our domestic affairs and even compromising the sovereignty. Yung tatay niya, at least may mga declaration. At to certain extent, yung tatay niya, trinay na ma-justify lahat ng kanyang ginagawa nung panahon na yun, legally speaking. Ito wala talaga. Wala talaga. Balahura talaga ang dating. Walang due process, basta go lang siya ng go. Akala naman niya na ang mga Pilipino ay mabait talaga din ang Pilipino kasi hindi naman sila makakarating ngayon, makakabalik sa puwersa at sa power kung hindi mabait ang Pilipino at mapagpatawad. Pero one thing though that they have to remember, the Filipino people is resilient and usually would rise up against oppression and against this kind of things. And ang tanong ko lang, it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of time.
Prof, may isang politiko, either dati or kasalukuyang politiko at din ito, aktibo rin ito sa social media, sa X or dating Twitter, itong si George Christensen. Basahin ko lang yung kanyang naging post dito sa Twitter. Ang sabi niya rito, the globalists just took down Duterte. Who's next? Okay? Sabi niya dito, Rodrigo Duterte, the man who defiled the globalist elite, has been arrested today on ICC orders. This isn't justice, it's an attack on sovereignty. Sabi pa niya dito, share this thread. Let the world know the ICC is not about justice. It's about control. Today, it's Duterte. Tomorrow, it could be your leader. Ano masasabi mo dito, Prof?
Which is true. Today is Duterte, tomorrow who's the next? Pero ang ano ko kasi dyan ganito, it really depends on the domestic domestic government, the national government. Kasi look, even let us say one example, Netanyahu, example even the Russian President Putin, 'di ba? May mga attempt, may mga charges na file against them in the ICC by the globalists, so-called. Because they don't want leaders who cannot be controlled by this, especially, the mga globalists na to, and an example of that is the Biden administration. They want a puppet that they can control like Marcos Jr. Pero ngayon, may mga charges. Pero anong nangyari? Walang nangyari doon. Sa mga charges na yon against let us say kay President Putin of Russia. Bakit? Because the national government did not allow it. And the national government did not allow to compromise their sovereignty because they're not part of the ICC. It depends on your government. It depends on the national situation, the national government. Kasi at the end of the day, ang red notice mo, Interpol man yan whatsoever, kapag hindi inalaw ng national government mo na, i-allow mo yan to be implemented at yung national government mo will not cooperate, it will not happen. But the problem in our side right now with the Marcos Jr., they actually planned it out for a long time. Sabi ko nga before, every time I'm being interviewed and even discussing this issue, sabi ko, itong mga to, dinaya sa public, pero sa totoo lang, plinaplano na nila yan. It's not anymore a question of kung mangyayari o hindi yung ICC. Matagal ko nang sinabi to, it's a question of when. Kaya sinasabi ko, ano pang ginagawa niyo? Do you really think naniniwala kayo sa kanya? Nasasabihin niya ganito o hindi? Pero ibang ginagawa niya. Naku, sabi ko nga, ang dami kong mga kaibigan dyan sa Pilipinas, sinasabi ko yun, it's not anymore an issue kung gagawin o hindi, kahit ano pang sabihin niya sa publiko, kasi proven na siya na hindi naman niya ginagawa talaga ang sinasabi niya. For public consumption lang yun, pero pinaplano nila is the other way around. Ang sabi ko nga, it's a matter of when. Hindi nga ako nagkamali. Ito nga yun, nangyari na nga. Nangyari na nga. Pero ang tanong, tatanggapin mo lang ba yan o hindi? And even then, the whole international community is also reacting. Why it happened like that? And why is it that the Philippines compromised its sovereignty by allowing the arrest of a former president when in fact the Philippines is not anymore a part of the ICC and the Philippines is not a failed state. we are not a failed state. The ICC is the last resort. Ang pwede mo lang gamitin ng ICC actually is yung mga cases like for example ng Congo. Kasi talagang failed state na yan. Kailangan may pumasok din na intervention coming from outside para maging tahimik or maging stable siya. Pero the Philippines, unless the Filipino would accept na we are a failed state. In that sense, na ang korte natin hindi gumagana. But as far as I'm concerned, we're not. We are a sovereign state. But but under Marcos Jr. government, I don't think ganun ang nangyayari sa atin. Kasi kinompromise niya eh. Presidente siya, bakit niya kinompromise? Pwede ka naman magsabi, okay, kahit ilang read notice pa ng Interpol ang ipadala niyo sa Pilipinas, kung totoo talaga na kaya niyang i-uphold ang soberanya ng Pilipinas, sasabihin lang, wala akong pakialam dyan because we will not implement it. But the other way, the reverse happened eh. O yan, pinangunahan pa ng kanyang PNP chief at yung isa pang sa CIDG, yung pag-i-implement ng gusto niya na, i-dispatch siya itong si former President Duterte at ngayon nga, gusto nilang ipadala kung saan yan. At gusto nilang sabihin na sa papadala daw nila sa Hague or I don't know where. But I don't think the former president will allow that. I don't think so. And still, at the end of the day, gusto ko lang din sabihin sa ating mga kababayan, Admar at MJ, now we still have the last bastion of our democracy. And that's the Supreme Court. Sa pagkakaalam ko, ang mga lawyers ng ating former president, including dyan ang ating spokes ng bayan, Harry Roque, mayroon ng petisyon na ready at I think naihain na sa Supreme Court natin na which would counter itong nangyaring aresto sa ating mahal na former president. So ngayon, ang akin lang wish at ang hope ko lang that the last bastion of our democracy or democratic institution in the country at the moment under a Marcos regime is the Supreme Court. And I hope really that the Supreme Court, the justices in the Supreme Court will stand for our democracy and will stand for our people and will stand for our sovereignty and independence. Huwag niyo nang asahan ang legislative branch. Huwag niyo asahan ang executive. In the three branches of government, you have the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. Compromise lahat yung dalawa. Sa akin, I really hope na the judiciary, the lead ng judiciary, which is the Supreme Court, will stand for our democracy, really. They're the last bastion. At this time of our history, at this time of the government of Marcos Jr., the last bastion of our democracy is the Supreme Court. And I really hope the justices will not be afraid, but will stand with the Filipino people and will stand with our flag and will defend our democracy as a country. I really hope so. I really hope so.
Ma'am, balikan na natin yung mga eksena sa paglapag kaninang umaga ni dating Pangulong Duterte, nang puntahan siya ng mga otoridad at isinerve po yung order ng ICC. Panoorin po natin ang video na ito, ma'am.
Without any you better go back to them and have the legal. Wala. For what? I am a citizen of this country, a former president, and you may piece of paper and you're asking me to go with you? Abogado ka? Hindi po. Tawagan yung abogado mo?
Alex. Be sir, also our upper class commander 60.
I'm sorry to be talking loudly, but this is a serious matter.
They just transmitted to me, sir, a copy. Kanina, sir, nire-request ko na magpagbigyan lang kayo until we get a copy of the warrant of arrest kasi yung requirement.
That is the only
they're saying
legal thing.
Yan po, ma'am. Tinanong niya yung nagdala ng order, yung abogado, hindi. Yung palang, balljack na yung nag-serve eh. Di ba? Tsaka, to note, he was in a public flight.
Nakamute po kay ma'am.
Aeroplano, MJ. Hindi man lang nila pinababa muna yung tao.
Correct.
Before nila bigyan ng mga ganyan-ganyan. O, tignan mo, MJ. Nasa loob yan natin ng aeroplano, di ba?
Yes, ma'am. Nasa loob yan.
Oh, you see? The disrespect for the former president is so despicable. At the end of the day, that's a former president who served the country well. Out of courtesy man lang, binigyan naman sila nila ng konting ginhawa. Pinababa sana nila muna yan at doon nila in-explain kung ano ba yan na dokumento at bakit siya inaaresto at kung may legal document silang dala. My God! You see, mga kababayan, that's despicable. Even enemies, kung enemies ang pag-uusapan dito, Marcos and Duterte, you have to show respect kahit papano. That is how you are that's supposed to be the case. But my God, nasa loob ng eroplano, katayo pa lang ng upuan, bababa ka dapat. Pwede naman pababain at ina-explain dapat ang mabuti. Pero hindi Talagang sa loob ng eroplano, kakaloka. Sobra sabi ko, walang respeto man lang sa isang taong nagsilbi sa bayan for 6 years na nagsilbi. At hindi madali ang panahon ni Digong kasi sa panahon ni Digong may COVID po tayo. Kung hindi si Digong ang naging presidente ng Pilipinas during that very, very difficult time in our country, kasi COVID yun it's a matter of life and death. Siguro, ang Pilipinas, kalahati ng populasyon natin deads. Kung hindi si Digong, kasi siya lang talaga ang may political will kung anong dapat gawin sa panahon na yon. And they don't even recognize that. Out of respect and courtesy man lang. My God! That's really crazy. Tingnan mo, sa loob ng eroplano pa, tama naman ang former president Sabihin niya, lawyer ka ba? Ano ba yan? May explain mo na Ano ba yan? Legal document ba yan? Pwede mong tawagin yung lawyer niyo. Kasi lawyer siya Prosecutor siya. Alam niya yung mga ganyang bagay. Diba? Mga kababayan, may respeto pa ba kayo sa current na gobyerno ng Pilipinas ngayon? Sa ganitong mga pangyayari? Ewan ko na lang sa inyo. Ako wala talaga na. The last drop of respect na wala talaga on my side. I'm sorry. Last drop na nga yun Kasi nagre-reserve pa ako before Ngayon wala na talaga. Zero. Negative.
Prof, naniniwala po ba kayo na ito maganap ngayon ay paglilihis na sa mga issue na pinupukol ngayon laban sa gobyerno, laban sa administrasyon, considering marami na ang nagpasaklolo sa Korte Suprema doon sa PhilHealth na pondo, doon sa questionableng 2025 budget at pinasasagot na sila. Marami ding mga nabubulgar doon sa oral arguments, doon sa PhilHealth, yung sa budget ng PhilHealth na kung saan-saan na lang yung pinaglilipat, kahit na may pondo naman yung paglilipatan ng proyekto na yon. And at the same time, sa darating po na Abril ay mangyayari ang oral arguments naman dito sa controversial na 2025 budget, Prof.
Well, ang paglilihis is one thing. One thing yan. Gusto nilang maiba yung issue, gusto nilang mapunta doon sa, ito ngayon ang pinakamainit na issue both nationally and internationally. Pero sa akin kasi hindi lang yan Matagal nila talaga gusto itong mangyari. Pinaplano talaga nila ito matagal na. And ako sa akin talaga, mula pa noon hanggang ngayon, alam ko that this will happen. It's just a matter of when. Kaya lang, ang timing nila, ginawa nilang timing ngayon kasi ang dami-daming issues na kung saan napupukol ang current administration na mga binanggit mo, Admar. Pero kung tatanungin mo ako kung hindi ito orchestrated or ginagamit lang nila ito as a smokescreen para mailipat ang atensyon ng mga tao sa dami ng issue ng bansa, especially ngayon sa mga tinatalakay ng mga petisyon ng Supreme Court, kasama na ang GAA ng 2025, ang PhilHealth, ang impeachment trial ang impeachment ni DP kasi meron ding petition coming from both sides and all that. This is just one thing. Pero itong ICC talaga na to, if you really follow yung mga pronouncement ng mga may pakanahan nito, makikita mo talaga na it was just a matter of time. So ngayon, tiniming lang nila na pwede rin nilang gamitin as a diversionary tactic. Pero they will do it kasi iisa lang talaga ang gusto nila. They want to eliminate the Duterte in the political landscape of the country. And how they gonna do that? Hindi nila kasi pwedeng madiktahan ng lahat ng Pilipino. Nasasabihin nila kahit ano pang propaganda, kahit ano pang accusation, kahit ano pang kasong ilbato nila sa mga Duterte, kay Sara, kay DP Sara, kay Digong, the Filipino people would always stand with them. Majority if not all. So hindi nila kayang gawin. Hindi nila kaya kasing tirain in that sense. So ang gagawin talaga nila is extreme. At ito na nga yung extreme. Look, the former president, now ICC. And then, anong ginawa nila sa Vice President? Diba, in-impeach nila sa Congress. Ngayon, pending trial for possible removal. Paano? Ano ang consequence ng removal? If in any case, ma-remove si Vice President Sara Duterte sa kanyang pagiging Vice President, sa trial na mangyayari sa Senate beginning July 2 after the election. Hindi na siya makakatakbo kahit anong posisyon ng public office. Anong bottom line yun? Siyempre, eliminated siya sa political landscape ng Pilipinas. Itong kay former President Duterte sa ICC. Ano ba to? 'Di ba? Kanina sa Davao City may mga kuro-kuro na or may mga, how do you call that, may mga suggestion na lumulutang na ng mga chismis or mga rumors na possibly dapat itatanggalin si former president dun sa kanyang kandidatura bilang mayor ng Davao. Di ba kanina mayroon ng mga ganong klaseng mga lumalabas na mga usap-usap. Pero of course, these are still usap-usap, rumors pa lang, but who knows what is really the plan? Because they want also to make it matagal na. Pinaplano talaga nila ngayon na yung Davao City ay mawala sa kamay o hindi na maging Duterte ang mamumuno dyan bilang mayor.
Opo.
Ganun naman talaga ang plano So ito, nilagay lang nila itong mga event nito dito ngayon sa panahon na ang dami-daming mga issues ng bansa. Pero ang sa akin kasi ganito, I don't think the Filipino people ay hindi nila tututukan din ang mga issue ng Pilipinas tulad ng GAA, ng impeachment sa Supreme Court na nakapending ang petition at andyan din yung oral arguments natin sa PhilHealth. I think everything will be a confluence of factors. At ang Pilipino naman kaya niyang tignan lahat ito. So for me, if this is a diversionary tactic for them, for us Filipinos, kaya natin ilatag lahat yung mga issues na yan sabay-sabay. So, ganun sa akin Ganun ang tingin ko dyan.
Opo.
So, sa mga Pilipino, wag niyong isipin na diversionary tactic at wala na yung pag-iisip niyo malilipat lang dito at hindi. Lahat ng issue importante. Itong issue na to is very important. Itong ICC thing. At the same time, lahat ng issue ng bansa is importante. Lahat yan dapat ilatag natin mga Pilipino. Dapat yan pag-usapan publicly speaking. At lahat dapat yan ay makita ng Pilipino kung asan ang Pilipinas sa lahat ng daming issue ng bansa na kinaharap, including the economy, including peace and order, and many, many others. So sa akin, ganun ang tingin ko dyan, Admar.